everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Stoke. I hope you've been enjoying the content. And like I said, always comment below if there's somebody that you want to hear from or an interesting topic that you'd like discussed. And yeah, we try and bring in the fun guests. And today I'm super excited about this one. We have Emma Woodhouse here today joining us, a graduate from the UNH ski team and also the creator of the Barriers to Breakthrough podcast, something that's making great headway as you see it on Spotify and Instagram and moving through the ski community, trying to address sports and mental health and something that we all should be talking about at all times. So, Emma, thank you so much for coming on and taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And so, before we really get started, I think the most important question is, can you explain your podcast and what the goal is and what you're trying to do by creating it?
Yeah, so my podcast is just all about bringing stories together and helping athletes just to make them feel that they're heard. And so, I just really want to bring those stories out there and inspire athletes who are struggling, who are going through something, and when they feel that they can't get through it. So, and having those stories there, it'll just allow them to just let them know that they can get through it and there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, you've created this incredible platform and you've had really incredible guests so far. Do you mind talking about some of the guests that you've had on the podcast and some of the things that they've talked about that you think really resonated and should be shared with our sync community?
Yeah, so my first guest was Francesca English, or better known as Frankie. And so she talked about she was going through depression, or she still is going through depression. And so she really dug deep and told me and my listeners about really the thoughts that she was going through. And like she was really could pinpoint what she was thinking, and she knew that something was wrong. So I thought that was really cool that she was able to recall that, and she was just so vulnerable about her experience. And then I also recently had Larissa Urquhart. So she's a really, really cool skier, really cool person. We grew up really close. She just is, I think, 45 minutes away from me. And yeah, so she just talked about her story of racing independently, and how she was kicked off the Canadian ski team, and then how she was able to adapt and gain her confidence back. So it was really cool to meet with both of those athletes. And what I really took from both of those was that they both had a genuine love for the sport, and I feel like that is so important. Like you really need to love what you're doing, and like that's how you're going to be successful, is just having that true love for it.
Yeah, it's definitely a sport where we can see lots of ups and downs. And I think breaking this stigma, having this platform, and being able to talk about the mental health side of skiing, something that we all love, is super important. So we're thrilled to hear that you have that platform to do that. So, really, the next question is, you've begun this podcast, you're getting these guests. What do you see it doing next? What is the next thing that you want to do moving forward? Is it more athletes? Is it longer term? Is there a way to provide resources? What's your goal?
Yeah, I just really want to build that community, and I just want to build my following. I would love to have really high profile guests. Like I would love to have Lindsey Vaughn. I'd love to talk to her, or Serena Williams, really big fan. Yeah, I would just love to just keep bringing those stories up, and just because there's always someone that doesn't feel heard. They don't think that anyone relates to them. So just keep the stories going, I think, is just what's really going to help a lot of athletes out there. So just building my following, just building the community is my true goal.
Yeah, and I completely understand the community aspect. At Sync, we pride ourselves on being a community of ski racers and really just overall athletes in general. And it's funny to hear you mention Serena Williams with tennis. Do you see the podcast leaving skiing and getting that big that you can talk to any athletes? That's just incredible.
Yeah, I've been so I've my second interview was with a diver. She was my roommate most of my college years. So yeah, I'm leaning towards more um, all sports
Yep.
usually, but mostly a female focus.
Yeah, for sure. That's great because it's true. All athletes do have this, and it is something that everybody deals with, and you figure out how to deal with it in the best way. And I think that actually leads us to my next question is mental health is serious, and it's not something that you need to be ashamed or afraid of, and it's not a sign of weakness because I think that a lot of times athletes feel like they can't speak up or say that they're struggling because that's a sign of weakness. So, what do you think is the most important thing to say to people on here and people listening that shows that you can talk, that you can have this safety net and know that people are always listening?
Yeah, I think a big part of why people don't stand up is that they think that they're the only one that's going through that. I think that's a big part of the stigma is because it's not talked about. Um, so I think, yeah, just being able to talk to people and being comfortable with your teammates or with your friends. I know that's easier said than done, but um, just being able to talk about it, I think, is just what is gonna help them with their mental health, and just knowing that you can, like, people are willing to help you, um, and yeah, and you can get through it.
Well, Emma, thank you so much for your time. I think that this is a very important conversation and just the beginning. We're thrilled at Sync to be able to do this with you and talk to you about your podcast. And hopefully, this also leads some people to join your community as well and continue to listen to other people's stories and maybe even share their own. So, thank you so much for your time. And I'm looking forward to watching as this grows and to the Sync community. Please, please, please take this seriously. Listen to these podcasts, listen to these stories, be the support to your friends that you may not know, but always will need you. So thank you so much, and I'll catch you all next week.